time is speeding up, chaos is shifting into a new level, and we feel the pull to unlock the mysteries of the universe. Timeless spiritual wisdom offers the point of stability to navigate these times and to open our greatest potential. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the fun and knowledge of visionary best-selling authors Shri and Kira as they explore these mysteries and invite your higher love to come forward. And now, here are Shri and Kira.
Namaste. I am wisdom teacher Shri Ram Ka.
And I am Kira Ra, and welcome, beloved ones, to Higher Love. You know, we are very grateful that you are here with us today because we are exploring life beyond 2012. What's going on? Where are we? Bottom line is things really have changed. You know, the world might not have ended, which we said it wouldn't. We've said for years there will be a 2013 and beyond. Yet, Shri, things did change.
Yes.
We are in this new momentum. We're in this different space, and we want to explore that space and how to navigate it, because I suspect you've already noticed how different things have become.
You know, there's a couple of strata of experience going on in our world, and we want to touch and offer you a discernment of what these strata of experiences are and how you might recognize where you are within them.
And not go crazy doing it. You know, the one thing I think that is really fascinating, Shri, is as much as we all thought time was speeding up in 2012, it's gone into hyperspace. How about the way that you're relating with people? How about the way people are relating with you? The way the world, the way we're relating with each other, the way things are being blown up. I mean, we're dealing right now with gun issues in a way we've never dealt with them before, and they've become global. You know, you've got the whole Piers Morgan thing and other issues around that. We're dealing with tempers in a new way, a lack of patience, almost a lack of respect. I mean, it's fascinating to me, totally fascinating to me, the whole Alex Jones, Piers Morgan diatribe and how that came down. And also about the lack of recognition. You know, one of the things that the Mayans have said, that we have said, and if you have not read the Revelations of the Mayan Elders that we have posted on our website, go read them now.
Yes, those revelations are succinct, they're clear, and if you revisit them now, they'll make a lot more sense.
Well, and I agree. And not only that, I think they're even more profound now, because remember, we released those over a year ago. And now when you read them, it's like, wow. Because it shows you the validity and where we're going. You know, Shri and I just held another Mayan ceremony 3 days ago. And things are moving, and if you don't move with them, you're going to become that Alex Jones, Piers Morgan model. And so that's something to really pay attention to, because we're at a very critical moment post-2012. How are we navigating this?
So let's offer you a couple of models, a couple of ideas, because how can you learn? How can you awaken consciousness if you don't try on a new perspective?
Right.
You know, we grow by either trying on perspectives, meaning actually loosening our grip on how we think it is, and looking at things from other sides, other views. You know, that's the old story of three blind men touching an elephant, and one of them has the trunk, and one has an ear, and the other has the tail. They describe a different beast, don't they?
Totally.
And so it is with human beings. So we need to recognize that you, my beloved friend, are in your bubble, as am I, as is all beings. We all have a bubble of perspective.
Now, you know, when you're saying that, I don't know why, but I went back to years ago, that commercial about scrubbing bubbles.
Scrubbing bubbles.
And I was thinking about how we are all these little scrubbing bubbles, and yet we are a group of bubbles that
that's where it gets interesting.
Bubbling against each other in the same glass, so to speak.
So we have our perceptual field, we have our sense of identity, our own psychology, and then we tend to glob on with other people who have similar points of view, thus empowering a worldview.
Indeed.
And that becomes the foam in the bathtub. It has shape and it has form and it has its identity, a group identity. Now, without getting too analytical, let's just understand that our world has been lifting its vibrational rate. Change has been happening. The dimensions are falling back onto themselves, meaning coming closer together. So if you're in your bubble, what are you noticing? Now, this isn't criticism or judgment. It's just a fact of the way it is. If we are only looking at things through our bubble, our little cocoon, we will keep seeing the same things we've always seen.
You know, that's true. And if you stay in your bubble long enough, it gets kind of constricting.
Yes.
You know, because all of a sudden it's like you're bumping up against your own edges, and that's what this post-2012 world is about.
That's what's happening.
Exactly. Everybody is bumping up against their own edges, and you can either fly with it and fly through it, literally. Now, I want you to hear me seriously. Literally allow yourself to start becoming the alchemical process, or you're going to find yourself retarding depression, conflict, chaos. Look at, I don't mean to belabor this issue, but when I look at what's happening, when you gaze at what's happening on the world right now, controversy, conspiracy, people being dark and concerned, those are all beings that are bumping up in their bubble and they don't know how to break through. This is why the world is screaming for the expansion of a Vesa. What is a Vesa? It is an expansion energy that pops the bubble, and suddenly, consider this, right? Consider this, Sri. You're in a balloon.
Okay.
All right, let's make his bubble a balloon.
Oh,
So Sri's in a balloon. He's in a balloon, right? And you're floating, 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 and you're conscious that you're floating, but you can't get out of the balloon. You have no control as to where the balloon is going. You have no control how high or how low. It might be deflating, it might be inflating, it might be going left, right, up, down, and you can't stop it. Well, that's a very frustrating place to be, because you're aware, but you can't do anything about it. I mean, that's really frustrating, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So what a Vesa does is it safely pops the balloon, but you're flying. Get that one. So if the balloon pops, initially you might be afraid to let the balloon pop. You're uncomfortable, you're doing the same old thing, you're feeling it, and you don't want to move because you think, well, at least I'm safe in this balloon. I might be uncomfortable, I might be stuck in my own paradigms, I might be repeating patterns, I might be gazing at the world and getting more angry or frustrated as time goes on, but at least if I'm in the balloon, I won't fall. What if you had the ability to pop that balloon and fly and direct where you're going, direct where you're seeing, direct what's happening in your life? That's a Vesa. That's the quantum immersion process. And in order to live in a post-2012 world, at one level or another, you must dive into quantum immersion energy. And this is not woo-woo. I mean, this is very much a scientific expansion.
It is, and we're offering you a way of communicating about this that you may not have heard it expressed this way before. So consider that our world has the universe itself is conspiring to wake you up.
Yes, indeed.
To expand you
in every way.
back to your original form. And I don't mean that in a scary way. It's just that consciousness has refracted, points of view have refracted, and we have all of these diverse, seemingly polar opposite tensions, when underneath them there is a consciousness of oneness. And take a look at our world and you see what's happening in Syria and in Egypt and in Iran and in Korea and Asia for that matter. And at one level it looks like there's a lot of tension. Maybe at another level, there's a oneness that's seeking to heal the tension.
Well, you know, Shri,
it's emerging.
That is so powerful. Like just yesterday, the country of Pakistan, this is fascinating to me, the judicial system literally issued an arrest warrant for the premier of Pakistan. And so things are, and I love that because it's like, which way are we looking at this? And I'm not offering any judgment on this. What I'm sharing with you is, people are looking to get out of the balloon, and they're either going to accidentally pop that balloon and fall, and that's going to hurt, or they're expanding out through this quantum immersion process, through the ability to expand, and they're flying.
And expansion can be a little scary.
Oh my gosh,
because
yes.
the old rules don't seem to apply.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why one of the tensions in our world is to either regress to more dogmatic ways of being.
And we're certainly seeing that.
In the U.S., it's more of the right-wing stuff. In other countries, it's the fundamentalism stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So to regress is to put rules back into place that made you feel safe. Or to expand is to accept that your heart will guide you.
Now, you know, I'm smiling because we're going to really dive into this in the second half of the show. I mentioned earlier on that Shri and I had done a ceremony just a couple days ago, and in conjunction with the crystalline beings of light that we were working with and the Mayan elder that we were working with, we have some really powerful things to share about quantum immersion, about the times ahead, the next few years, and how you can navigate them. So I want you to take a breath, and I want you to breathe and feel, and in this moment, float in your bubble, float in your balloon, knowing that you are safe and knowing that you are ready to expand beyond it. Stay with us because we have a lot more to go in the second half of this very important show.
Namaste, beloved one. This is Kira Ra, and I am inviting you to take a journey of the soul in the land of the heart. Imagine your life free from chaos and filled with creative clarity. Imagine waking up each day in your private lakefront casita, greeted by brilliant sun, flowers, and birds. It is here that you will effortlessly resurrect your divine blueprint in pristine energy. Yes, I am inviting you to join us for a personal resurrection vacation.
Welcome back. We're glad you're with us.
Welcome back. We really are, and thank you for staying with us on this powerful journey of our post-2012 world and living in these scrubbing bubbles or balloons.
Well, let's talk about that just a little bit more. So, everybody has an energy field called an aura. We also have a psychological field that we live within. It's our belief structure. It's what we believe is true. And just as Columbus challenged the Indians when the ships came on the horizon, they had no context for what are those floating things. They didn't even see them. They couldn't recognize them. Well, they're innocent, as are you, as are we. We're innocent. Yet the universe is asking us to awaken. You may feel it inside of you, a certain anxiety, a certain uncertainty that something needs to change. Well, the something is you.
Now breathe, because I know sometimes that's kind of scary, but that's also why we're where we're at, is because not everybody can hear that and breathe.
You know, and just as a little chick has to peck its way out of the egg, or the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, there is a moment of tension.
Indeed.
When we are birthing a new self, when we're evolving and emerging, there is a moment when things could seem a little dark or uncertain. And so we need to cultivate the trust that our heart does know the way, that your soul does know the way. And it's through this spiritual energy that we can transition the material energy, the outer world.
Now, you know, take that in for a moment and also let go of any paradigms you might have around spiritual. There are so many misconceptions, there are so many misperceptions, and again, these come from kind of bouncing around in that bubble that are out there right now. But the reality is we cannot do things the way we've done them. We cannot continue the way we've been. That's the one universal agreement that I think everyone, regardless of your point of perspective, can come forward on, is that, yes, things are changing, have changed, and are escalating outside the realm of our former comprehension of linear time. This is why you must expand into the quantum immersions process. Without it, truly, things are going to be kind of challenging right now.
And when you consider kind of challenging, I want to come back to that personal experience. You know, we reach a point in our own evolutionary process where we're seeking a sense of peace, where we're seeking a sense of congruence or authenticity, you know, when things just seem to fit, versus feeling like we're just falling short, it's not quite right, I can't really relax in the world is scary, whatever words describe that sense of tension that we want to heal. And so that is the signal from the universe that you're ready. for the greater paradigm, for a bigger bubble.
And you know, what I love about that tree is that no matter how far you've gone in the bubble, you always have more to go. If you are in a body, and I suspect you are if you're listening to the show, but you might not be, but if you're in a body right now, you have more to go. So no matter how far you've gone, you've just been expanding that bubble and keeping it. Remember, the goal, the beauty is to pop the bubble and fly, not pop it and drop. And there's a lot of pop and drop going on right now.
Well, there's also a sense of when we get right to the threshold, we're just about to break through, that a part of us gets frightened.
Oh, yeah.
And we turn around and go back even further the other way. And that's how this uptick in fundamentalism is energized.
Indeed.
There's nothing wrong with that choice. It's a valid choice. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go forward or do I go backward? You get to choose. However, when we choose to regress rather than express forward, we call forth a repetitive energy, something we've already done before, that maybe we need to do it again to really get the learning from it.
And the learning is part of the celebration. And you know, I'm thinking about the fact that back in 2004, Shri and I were very, very blessed to be invited to bring the Abesat energy back into the planet. And remember that this was an energy that had been dormant on the planet during the entire 1900s and up until 2004. It didn't even release the millennium. It had to have a few more years of stability. Well, why? Because back in the late 1800s, it was visioned by the great Tulkus of Tibet, by some of the sages and gurus up in northern India. They had already seen the 1900s. They foresaw the world wars. They foresaw the rise in the ability to manipulate. They saw the technological advances and what was going to happen because of them. And so this energy was dormant. It was dormant. It wasn't dead, it was just dormant. Well, after the millennium change, after the rapid shift and escalation of the planet, and we all know about the Schumann resonance, this is not woo-woo, this is actual scientific resonance shifts. It was around 2004 that the portal, the window opened for this awakening that has been building. And when Shri and I were invited to bring this forward, we were given, okay, do this much at this time. This is what can be handled without it being a problem. Then at 2012, do this, and we did. Well, now we're post-2012, and it's like all the stops are pulled, and we can really move forward. So we are very excited because for the first time ever, you can do this in the comfort of your own home as our home study program, and it's really super affordable. It's video with Shri and I, it's attunements, it's techniques, and you can do it at your own pace in the leisure of your own home for way under $200, which is just crazy. Go to our website, shriandkira.com, and check out the Avesa Home Study Program. Now, if you're ready for more, then I think you should come here to Guatemala, where
We're
we
going to
have
do it
that.
in person.
And what we're doing in person is way beyond the home study program. This is a full 6-day immersion. And we had to do it here in the center of the Americas. Bear in mind that we're willing to travel anywhere. We'll go anywhere. Goodness knows we love that. However, the reason that we, just for us personally, had to anchor here in Central America, and the reason why we need to invite you to come join us for these attunements is the balance energy. It needs to be, you need to be in that cradle of the heart, in the balance, in a central location of the planet, and that's the beauty and the profoundness. And with this 6-day immersion, and remember, it's the 6 points of the Star of David, the 6 points of the Merkaba. It has to be a 6-day immersion. We're going to, for the first time ever, show you how to step out of this dimension, pop that balloon, fly. We're going to invite you and show you how to go back and connect with you, how to go forward and connect with you, and how to empower the alchemical being you are to co-create in this post-2012 world. And whether you can join us in person or not, connect with this energy. You know, at the very least, do the home study program. Give yourself the gift of connection.
Each and every one of you has great power inside of you.
Indeed.
It's wired in your DNA. However, it only turns on when the conditions are appropriate. You know, it's almost like we have little sleeper cells inside
We do.
that are waiting for that energetic condition. In 2012, this planet has lined up with the center of the galaxy. We have a tide of energy that will continue now. We've reached a crescendo. We haven't reached the shift of the ages because the crescendo energy is needed to activate the individual participants to come to a new harmony, a new level of bubbles that will usher in the shift of the ages, the golden age.
And you know, we mentioned we met with the Mayan elder just a few days ago and did another huge, powerful ceremony. And I have to admit, the ceremony was so powerful that I actually have burns up here all over me from this ceremony. I mean, and wasn't even aware that things like that were happening, but there was so much energy coming in. And we talked earlier, Shri, about these bubbles and the paradigms and the dogmas and the religions. And one of the many revelations that came in from the Mayan elder on Sunday was that unless people are able to step into this alchemical experience, you're going to start seeing the religions. How would you like to share what he said?
Well, what we're going to see is an overall trend back to more fundamental, dogmatic energies. Or you're going to see a dissolving of dogma and an embrace of what we might call more spiritual energies, more universal energies.
Almost like this oneness.
So it's like a teeter-totter moment. And there will be those that choose to go into a more fundamental dogmatic experience and those who will lift into more of a universal.
And what he was sharing was that it's actually a more critical moment on the planet than all the hoopla around 2012, which the true authentic Mayans had no hoopla around 2012. None. What they were more concerned about is this post-2012 era. And what he said was that he went on, we had quite an extensive conversation about this. He said, it's important to realize that there is only one heart. There is only one religion. There is the religion of the heart, and that on our planet right now, all of these aspects of this religion of the heart are trying to become the soul aspect of it, meaning S-O-L-E, not the other soul. And because of that, there's this, as Shri was saying, kind of this jockeying for position. Yet, what he was clearly saying, and what they have all foreseen, and what the information we're receiving is sharing, is that as you already know, more people have been killed in the name of God than any other reason on the history of this planet. That because we are, and we cannot stop it, in this wave, in this tidal wave of reunification energy, there's going to be this rise in the traditions that are trying to hold fast to what they believe is right, which could produce some very intense times on the planet, especially between now and 2015.
They do feel that some of these dies have been cast. There is enough momentum toward this repetitive conflictual energy that there will be some hardship that must be played out in order for those participants to awaken to their choices. And then there's the opportunity for those that do not have to repeat certain energies in order to get that there's another way. So without getting into the greater scope of what could be flowing on the planet, I want to bring you back to something. We have an energetic opportunity. We have an environment around us that's calling upon you, upon me, to be more spiritually mature, to make choices that are evolutionary, that actually bring us to a new place, as opposed to just talk about it. It takes action. One action is, yes, the home study program to help awaken your recognition of this,
Pop the bubble.
Of this energetic, this cosmic DNA. However, the fastest way, the way that's kindest to you, is to immerse with other people who are all simultaneously embracing this energy so that you can feel it in your tissues, so that you can see it in your neighbor, so the neighbor can reflect what's going on in you back to you. In the quantum immersion experience, everybody wins. There's nobody left behind.
And what we're getting ready to do in April, we have not ever done before. There are components of things we've done before, but this 6-day program has never been produced before because the world was not ready. But the world is ready now. You are ready now. It's a post-2012 world. Bring your hand to your heart. Take a deep breath. Feel your own quantum energy right now. Allow it to enter. Allow it to come forward. We have a lot more to share about the subject. Stay with us every week for the next few weeks as we dive deeper into this. And until we have the gift of sharing that time with you, may your heart know that all is truly well.
Thank you for joining us today for 2012 Higher Love. Remember that you can find out more about Sri and Kira by going to SriandKira.com. That's SriandKira.